What is the best action film ever made? There are a lot to choose from. If you want straight up action adventure, nothing beats Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you want to go into the sci fi zone, then Terminator 2 is the absolute best. If you just want 2 hours of absolute pure action spectacle, Mad Max Fury Road is the way to go. Or in recent memory, John Wick Chapter 4 is a great one. All of these are, of course, deserving to be called one of the best ever made. But let's break this question down to its core. What is it that makes an action film great? Is it just the action? Just great stunt work and action choreography? Or is it something more than that? Now, at the bare minimum, these are enough to make a fun and entertaining action film. But if you want to make an action film that's a total masterpiece in the genre, then obviously you need a great story that is complementing the action sequences. You need great writing that carefully places this action sequences and balances it well with what's happening with the characters. And speaking of characters, you of course need great characters because they are what drive the action. If you don't care for the characters, there is no sense of danger in these action sequences. There's no sense of excitement. And so you obviously need compelling characters. And honestly, just striking this right balance is an extremely hard task. Of all the action films I have seen, and believe me, I've seen a lot, if there is one film that gets everything right, down to the last minute detail, it has to be the sixth Mission Impossible film, Fallout. So Mission Impossible Fallout is undeniably my favorite action movie of all time. It just has everything that you need from an action film and even from a film in general. Like, even putting aside the action, there's a lot of interesting things that are going around in Fallout. And you obviously have great characters, a compelling story, fantastic writing, and absolutely amazing direction by Christopher McQuarrie. But let's take it slow. Let's break down why Mission Impossible Fallout works. The action in Fallout is hands down the greatest ever. I mean, seriously, you have stunning cinematography throughout, and what Christopher McQuarrie does is that he captures everything that happens in such a detailed manner, and not a lot of action films can pull this off. McQuarrie has this clarity with his camera, especially during these chase sequences, that not a lot of filmmakers have. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly why he's capturing a certain thing. All of his camera shots and angles are just perfect. I mean, they really capture the core of what's happening in an action sequence. And that's one of the reasons why it works. But another huge reason why these action sequences work, as you can guess, is Tom Cruise. I mean, this guy does everything. He jumps off an aeroplane doing this insane halo jump, rides through the streets of Paris on a motorbike against traffic, and of course flies a helicopter like a madman. I mean, it is insane to me. And why this is important to the story is because when you look at Ethan Hunt, there is a huge level of believability, right? That exists because Tom Cruise is doing his stunts. Imagine there's a stuntman. You can't keep cutting to Tom Cruise's face in that sense. You need to have camera techniques to kind of hide and obscure the face so that you can just capture the stuntman doing his stunts. That would take the fun out of it because you don't feel involved a lot in that sense. But now you see Ethan Hunt actually doing these crazy things. It makes you feel more involved and makes you care a lot more for the character because you actually see him flying a helicopter at low altitudes and it's absolutely crazy insane. And it just, Tom Cruise really takes action to the next level. He totally understands what the audiences need. And the fact that he's able to put his own life at risk to kind of deliver these set pieces is just mind blowing to me. And I really respect him, just for his sheer dedication and will to do all it takes to deliver a great experience. Literally, no one else has this level of conviction and dedication that Tom Cruise has. And that is one of the major reasons why these action sequences work. One of my favorite sequences in the film, in fact, is the halo jump, because every time I watch it, I am blown away. Though I already know exactly what's going to happen, it takes my breath away. It makes me feel like I am there doing that halo jump. The cinematography is in that sequence alone is just stunning. I love the halo jump. I really have to talk about that bathroom fight, which is single-handedly one of the best hand-to-hand combat fight sequences ever. It is so brilliantly constructed. The stunt coordination to the jaw-dropping precision with which it is edited, all of it comes together so well. I really adore everything that happens in that fight. And even the humor is spot on in it. It's just absolutely perfect. And of course, we have this iconic sequence of Henry Cavill reloading his arms. Yeah, that's amazing. That only Henry Cavill could pull off something like that. I love that sequence. And everything else is fantastic too. I mean, the Paris motorcycle chase gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. And of course, the entire last climax of the film with the helicopter, everything they do in that is pure insanity, and I really love it. I just love everything they do with that climax. It's absolutely great. Literally every action scene is crafted to perfection. But what about the sequences that are not action? Right? What about the sequences where characters are talking to each other? What about the sequences where the characters are trying to figure out what's happening? What about the dialogue? All of these work spectacularly in Fallout. I mean, the dialogue driven sequences are just as important and feel just as exciting as the action sequences. And that is a very hard task to pull off. Yet somehow Macquarie crafts a story that's compelling in its own right without the action. Mission Impossible Fallout is the best example to give to show that even if a story is generic, all of it boils down to the execution. Every little plot detail that happens, we've seen that before in spy movies, we've seen that before in action film, but the execution here is so good. It's almost like it takes every trope that exists in the spy genre and does it to the best. So there is literally not any other way you could have done that particular thing. And that is the reason why Fallout works so beautifully with its story. All of the twists and turns that come up in the story are so logical and really make sense. And this is also the kind of story that doesn't spoon feed you information. There aren't particularly any exposition heavy sequences. You really have to focus on the plot, especially in the first hour and a half. There's a lot happening and you really have to pay attention to grab onto the details. One of the best scenes that exemplifies this quality of the film is this small sequence between August Walker and Erica Sloane. So basically what happens is he goes over to Erica Sloane and he hands over a phone which supposedly contains information that can prove that Ethan Hunt himself is in fact John Lark. But the detail here is that when we look at a close-up of the phone screen isn't cracked. Whereas when we look back at when Ethan extracts the phone from this person who's supposed to be John Lark in the bathroom fight, we see that the phone screen is cracked. So this proves that Walker was giving her a different phone and also goes on to prove the fact that Walker in fact is John Lark, which is later on revealed in the film. It is this minute attention to detail that I just find really exciting because it genuinely shows that Fallout is a much better written film than all of the action films out there. And Fallout is just so well written. I don't think people appreciate the film as much in that sense. I mean, of course, you praise the action sequences, the characters and all, but the writing here is just absolutely top notch. And then, since I've mentioned characters, let's just go there. Great characters. One of the best things about the mission films are the team dynamic. And in this film, you clearly see that. But more than that, I really love how they give each character a very well-deserved storyline. You have crucial sequences for Luther, you have crucial sequences for Benji, you have crucial sequences for Ilsa Faust. And all of these characters, when you just look at it play out, as they are, you really notice that none of them is like the lead character. And of course, Ethan is clearly the main lead, but he never seems like he's stealing the spotlight from the other characters. Everyone has a crucial role to play. And I just absolutely love that about the mission films. It doesn't make the entire film about the hero, rather, it makes the entire film about the team. Ilsa Faust, as I've already mentioned in my review of Rogue Nation, if you have not checked that review out, please do check it out. Click on the link above and you'll just watch that review. I went into a lot of detail into why I think Rogue Nation is a very unique action film. So what I was saying was, in that review, I've actually mentioned that Ilsa Faust is one of my favorite characters in the franchise, and she still continues to be. She's a total badass in the action sequences. But what I really love about her character is the conflict that she has. You know, she wants to get out of all of this mess, all of the spy game that she's involved in. She just wants to get out of it, but she can't. You know, she's being held back by all these organizations that she's working with, and in this case MI6. They want her to prove her loyalty by killing off Solomon Lane. That's her story arc in this film, and it's really interesting. You know, it's not just like this this woman who's just hired to kill someone. The fact that MI6 wants her to kill Lane to prove her loyalty just makes things much more interesting and adds a lot more stakes, because you constantly see that tension between her and Ethan, because both of them naturally respect and care for each other, but they also have to cross each other's paths in order for the mission to work out for both of them. So that conflict and tension is just extremely well captured. Fallout feels a lot more like a chess match. Like literally you have these pieces across the board, everyone is making their move. You really have to pay attention as to who is doing what, and a couple of moves and a couple of times one character is way ahead of the other character and the other character has to figure out what the other guy is doing. So it just feels like a very well orchestrated chess match that you're watching unfold in front of your eyes, and it's very exciting. What is film about? What are movies about? What is cinema about? It's all about the experience and the feeling that it gives you while you watch it. And in terms of feelings, in terms of vibes, in terms of entertainment, nothing beats Mission Impossible Fallout for me. It's my absolute favorite Mission Impossible film, and I just love everything about it, and everything comes together so well, and it just keeps getting better and better on rewatches. It is undoubtedly the best action film I have ever seen. With all of that said, I'm going to give Mission Impossible Fallout, of course, a 5 out of 5. So a couple of weeks ago, I took up a huge mission to review each and every Mission Impossible film before Dead Reckoning, and with this review, I've concluded it. I have successfully accomplished the mission. I've reviewed each and every Mission Impossible film. Please do check that out. You can click on the playlist above. You just watch all of those reviews. I've gone in depth and talked about why I love this franchise, why I genuinely think it's one of the best franchises out there, why I think it has great action sequences, why I think it just does a lot of things right. So just go watch those reviews. I've really put in a lot of work into making those reviews. And with Fallout, we've come to an end. So all you guys have to do now, your mission, should you choose to accept it, and please do accept it, is to give this video a like, and all those Mission Impossible reviews a like. Please, it really helps. I put in a lot of work into rewatching these movies and making them, so that really helps. I really appreciate you guys tuning into these videos, and of course, Dead Reckoning is hitting theaters very soon, and I'm gonna bring out a review as soon as I watch it. As soon as I watch it, I'm gonna bring out a review, and super excited for Dead Reckoning Part 1. Just can't wait. So I really appreciate you guys tuning into these videos and watching them. Thanks a lot. Keep enjoying movies, and I'll see you again.